Good morning, everyone. My name is Lee Thorpe. I serve as Senior Vice President of Resource Development and Marketing for United Way of Southeast Louisiana. I'm honored to be here today to represent Michael Williamson, our CEO, who is out running around our Seven Parish area making sure United Way is doing the good work. So I'm thrilled to be here to tell you a little bit about the great work of United Way, especially as we wrapped up our 2017-2018 fundraising campaign, another successful year with incredible organizations like your own supporting the work of United Way through either giving, volunteering, or public policy work and advocacy, as well as our amazing community partners, many of which are on the call right now. So I'm thrilled to be here, and I'm looking forward to giving you some information. I want to, first of all, send my regrets for Rick Haas, who is our board chairman. He is traveling right now and really wanted to be on the call, but he is unavailable at this moment. But we're appreciative of all of Rick's leadership of our campaign and of our work at United Way as we're working to eradicate poverty in Southeast Louisiana. That leads me to a really great segue of an incredible event that we recently had hosted by the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta at the New Orleans branch. And one of our amazing board members, Adrian Slack, who is an executive leader at the Federal Reserve Bank, they hosted an event for us called The Economics of Investing in America's Workforce and the ALICE Population. So as many of you know, ALICE is an acronym that stands for Asset Limited, Income Constrained, Employed. And it's the work we're doing at United Way to make sure that all individuals are receiving access to high quality health, education, and financial capability. So not only the 19% of people in our community that are living below the poverty line, but those individuals that we call ALICE that are hardworking individuals struggling every day to make ends meet. So the Fed was kind enough to host an event for us that was actually moderated by the president and CEO of the Federal Reserve Bank out of Atlanta, Raphael Bostic. And panelists included David Alteague, the Executive Vice President and Research Director of the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta, as well as Ashley Gardier, the Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer of the New Orleans Business Alliance, Stephen Toops, the Executive Vice President of Turner Industries, a huge supporter of United Way, not only in our Southeast Louisiana region, but across the state of Louisiana, as well as our own Michael Williamson, our President and CEO. They were able to talk about the harsh realities that ALICE faces every day and how the workforce and the business community can join together to support ALICE and make sure that people are moving on a path to prosperity. So we were so thrilled to have a really in-depth conversation with over 70 business leaders around the table talking about how they can personally invest in ALICE as we move forward and make our community greater. So a huge thanks to the Federal Reserve Bank for hosting that event for us. Another exciting moment in United Way's spring is National Volunteer Week, which is actually happening next week. United Way has been thrilled since it is our city's tricentennial to be, recognizing the incredible work that volunteers in our community are doing and have been doing for hundreds of years and will continue to do for hundreds of years. We have a tricentennial service challenge that has been sponsored by Entergy Corporation, one of our great supporters, and we are encouraging individuals from across our area, not just New Orleans, but the entire region, to be engaged in volunteerism, to log their hours with the ultimate goal of reaching 300,000 community service hours by the end of the tricentennial. We are so pleased to announce that already our volunteers have already logged 68,807 hours, mobilizing roughly 4,600 volunteers among 90 organizations. So just to give y'all just a snapshot of the impact that creates, that translates to more than $1.6 million in impact given back to our city for our 300th birthday. So we're so proud of the organizations that have partnered with us on that. Just a few organizations to highlight that are mobilizing so many volunteers: Xavier University of Louisiana, City Year New Orleans, Archbishop Rummel High School, the University of New Orleans Classic Upward Bound, the Collective GNO and Teach for America, One Brick New Orleans, Haynes Academy, St. Francis Catholic High School. So many groups in this community are are doing such great work, and we're so appreciative, and we know we're going to reach that 300,000 goal before the end of the tricentennial. And we once again want to thank Entergy for their support of mobilizing these volunteers and encouraging more people to sign up. If you have not yet signed up to volunteer or don't know much about the tricentennial volunteers and projects, you can go to our website at our volunteer page and check it out. So as I mentioned, our National Volunteer Week is next week, and through United Way's local partnership with the New Orleans Baby Cakes, we're so thrilled that we're going to be able to acknowledge the incredible amount of volunteers that have supported United Way over the years, including our flood volunteers that have come out to support our flood relief efforts in the wake of the March and August floods of 2016, as well as tornado volunteers that assisted our efforts in New Orleans East last year, as well as our everyday volunteers that are hopefully not hidden heroes. They're heroes to us that volunteer every day with United Way, whether it's in our office, at our days of action, through leadership and board service, through volunteer service across the community. So we're excited that next Tuesday, April 17th, we're going to be able to celebrate this volunteer support out with the Baby Cakes. And if you are interested in attending that game, you can reach out to us on our website and learn more about it. We're excited to have hundreds of United Way volunteers out at the ballpark to celebrate this achievement. So we once again want to thank the Baby Cakes for that. You know, from serving on the committees to getting families back in their homes, it's our volunteers that are creating a better place to live, work, and raise our families right here in Southeast Louisiana. So we're so appreciative of that. And if you're ever interested in sharing your personal experiences with volunteering, we have a little challenge through our website to share your volunteer experiences with United Way, so we can share it with the greater community, and you'll get a chance to win 2 Jazz Fest tickets. We like to say thanks in any way we can, so it's a small way of saying thank you to all of our supporters, and your stories will be featured on our website or through our social media platforms. So we encourage many people to go to our website and share their experiences. And with that, I will key it over to Pam Allison, who's our Director of Public Policy Analysis and Community Impact, to talk about all the amazing work that's being done for our public policy efforts in Louisiana.
Thanks, Lee. Well, I want to start off by saying yesterday was a very exciting day at the Capitol. It was a little emotional, too. Our longtime champion, Representative Helena Moreno, gave her farewell speech on the House floor. United Way Women United Day at the Capitol highlighted our long-term commitment to achieving increased investments in high-quality early child care education programming for all Louisiana children. We were delighted to join forces with Lobby, the Jefferson Chamber, and United Way Women United colleagues from across the entire state to advocate for the passage of House Bill 513, authored by Representative Steve Carter, and House Bill 676, authored by Representative Stephanie Hilferty. These bills have passed the House Education Committee and received unanimous approval on the House floor. Representative Hilferty's bill, House Bill 676, that creates the Early Childhood Care and Education Commission to develop a vision for early care and education in Louisiana and pilot programs, passed the House floor unanimously and now has 55 co-authors from both parties. Testimony is needed today. A public hearing is being held today in the House Appropriations on the state budget for public testimony on all topics. We would like to have testimony in support of greater investment in early care and education. Although there's no set time, the committee goes in the order of the items on the budget. And education is near the end, so it usually comes up in the afternoon, sometimes late afternoon. Support and testimony is also needed for Representative Steve Carter's bill. House Bill 513 has now been scheduled to be heard in appropriations on Monday, April 23rd, probably in the morning. We have some new and exciting bills that have been filed, as April 3rd was the last day to file bills. House Bill 873 by Representative Stephanie Hilferty provides that 3% of any increase in the official forecast of state general funds attributed to legislation enacted in the 2018 regular session of the legislature relative to sports betting and other forms of gaming shall go into the Louisiana Early Childhood Education Fund. Another bill, which is House Bill 864 by Representative Gary Carter, provides for the deposit in and credit to fund the greater of $400,000 or 25% of savings realized by the state as a result of the conversion of the rebate for donations to school tuition organizations to a non-refundable tax credit into the Early Childhood Education Fund. Finally, we would note that Representative Major Tebow sought to amend his bill, House Bill 245, that would have allowed sports betting in live racing facilities to provide that half of the increased proceeds go to the Child Care Assistance Program and half would go to TOPS. However, the bill failed in committee by one vote. And regarding economic security, equal pay, pay secrecy, House Bill 328 by Representative Patrick Jefferson promotes equal pay by prohibiting employer retaliation against an employee who discusses wage information. That is, prevents pay secrecy in the workplace. This bill is pending House Labor and Industrial Relations. Senate Bill 117 by Senator J.P. Morrell requires that any contractor contracting with a state entity comply with the Louisiana Equal Pay for Women Act. It promotes equal pay by preventing pay secrecy in the workplace. Now, this bill was heard in the Senate Labor and Industrial Relations and passed with no objections. However, it was heard on the Senate floor on March 27 and was defeated 18 to 21. This bill may be brought up for reconsideration. Senate Bill 149, also by Senator Morrell, promotes equal pay by prohibiting employer retaliation against an employee who discusses wage information. That is, prevents pay secrecy in the workplace. Senate Labor and Industrial Relations passed this bill, and it was, however, defeated on the Senate floor, and it may also be brought up for reconsideration. Senate Bill 118 by Senator J.P. Morrell provides that the Louisiana Equal Pay Act would be applicable to men and private employers, requires government contractors to verify equal pay practices. This bill was defeated in the Senate Labor and Industrial Relations. Now, Senate Bill 159 by Senator Troy Carter would allow local governments to establish a minimum wage. This would lift the preemption that has taken away power of local jurisdictions to set minimum wages within their boundaries. This bill was deferred by the Senate Labor and Industrial Relations. Another bill by Senator Troy Carter, Senate Bill 162, would increase the state minimum wage to $8 in 2019 and $8.50 in 2020. We support amendments to include tip minimum wage workers for the statewide increase and for the increases to be tied to cost of living increases. The Senate Labor and Industrial Relations passed this out of their committee. However, it was defeated on the Senate floor, and this bill may also be brought up for reconsideration. Another bill by Senator Troy Carter, Senate Bill 252, is a constitutional amendment to establish state minimum wage of $8.50 in 2019 with an annual adjustment for inflation. Amendments were made to this bill. It was originally set at $9.50, so the amendment actually made it $8.50, and it was amended and passed in the Senate Labor and Industrial Relations Committee. Now, all of our domestic violence bills have been successfully passed in committee and on the floor of the Senate and House. We now await for them to be heard respectively in the chamber, which must provide approval and consensus. We are very optimistic these bills will be receiving favorable approval. We are advocating in support of 10 domestic violence bills, which have originated in the State House of Representatives, and 3 domestic violence bills, which have originated in the State Senate. Our women's health policy includes House Bill 460, House Bill 584, House Bill 689, and House Bill 690, which have all been introduced by Representative Julie Stokes, and they all seek to address the need for expanded medical support for women who have been diagnosed with breast cancer. We would like to ask that everyone please continue to stay informed of all our action alerts, which continue to follow all legislative activity, and be sure to monitor any policy you may have an interest in by visiting the Louisiana State Legislature's website. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pam. We obviously cannot do the work that we're doing to eradicate poverty in our community without the strong support of our advocates, as well as the amazing staff that leads the public policy work. So we thank you very much for everything you do for us and making sure that we're taking care of our most vulnerable citizens in our state, not just our region. I am very pleased to get to announce during this call, after the close of our campaign, our top 10 workplace campaigns within United Way of Southeast Louisiana. For a teaser, because these companies are actually going to be listed alphabetically and not ranked. The rankings will actually be announced at our annual meeting on June 27th. So that is a promotion to save the date for June 27th to find out how all of our companies ended up. But I'm very excited to announce our top 10 corporate and organizational supporters this year and tell you a little bit about what they have done for United Way and for our community to make sure that we're working to eradicate poverty. So, drum roll, please. In alphabetical order, our first top 10 workplace campaign is Chalmette Refining LLC. Chalmette is an incredible supporter of our work, creating every year a jambalaya cook-off with hundreds of employees and contract workers that all compete and serve jambalaya to their employees, and let United Way come and talk about the work we're doing and the services that are available to their employees, their families, and their friends. They also host a leadership dinner for all of their leadership donors of $500 and above. It is a beautiful dinner every year where the top leadership of Chalmette Refining reaffirms its commitment to United Way and to our community. And it's amazing, and we're so fortunate that we are able to participate in spreading the word about the importance of leadership giving to United Way. Chalmette Refining also hosts an ice cream social where they invite other United Way partner agencies that are serving residents of St. Bernard Parish especially to talk about the work they're doing and how every dollar really does make a difference to support the work of the programs, the collaborations, the internal initiatives, the volunteerism, and the advocacy going on at United Way. As well as they are heavily involved in our Women United group. Elizabeth Ellison Frost and Becky Borg are strong leaders in our Women United group and constantly supporting our public policy work and over at the Capitol. So we thank them for that. Our second company in alphabetical order is Entergy New Orleans. Entergy has been a huge supporter of United Way this year, not only through its corporate support of many of our financial capability programs, such as our IDA program, our volunteer income tax assistance. They are the largest supporter of the J. Wayne Leonard Prosperity Center, which just launched this year. In addition to the honor we had to give the Prosperity Center the name J. Wayne Leonard Prosperity Center, Mr. Leonard and Entergy retiree once again committed $1 million gift to United Way's work in our Blueprint for Prosperity. Entergy is also a huge supporter of our ALICE report, that if you have not read the ALICE report, it is an in-depth story that really talks about the many challenges that Alice faces on a regular basis, and we could not have done that research without Entergy's statewide support. They're also, obviously, as I mentioned before, a huge supporter of our Tricentennial Volunteerism Challenge, and not only that, but their employees support United Way every year, and Entergy offers a one-to-one match on those gifts. We're able to give presentations to employees, to leadership donors, and we're very, very appreciative of that support and that commitment. Next on our alphabetical list is Freeport McMoran. Freeport is once again a long-standing supporter of United Way, and even as employees are scattered across the country, they're constantly showing their support for United Way of Southeast Louisiana. They were kind enough to host a Frappy Hour for United Way this year, which was a coffee mix and mingle with their donors, their employees, to talk about the work of United Way. We were fortunate to have Rebecca Gardner, who's one of the co-chairs of our Young Leaders Movement, who works at Freeport, talk about why she gives to United Way, why she volunteers and supports our work. And those firsthand testimonials are so important in our efforts. So we're very appreciative of Freeport for that. Next on our list is International Paper, based out of Bogalusa, Louisiana. Amazing model campaign. Not only is International Paper a model campaign in Southeast Louisiana, but they're a model campaign among all of the International Paper locations across the country. We're very fortunate to have the support of their CEO and their employee campaign coordinator. They offer many incentives to encourage people to give. They have a very high percent participation among givers, because once again, what we try to emphasize is that the importance is not on the amount of the gift, it's the amount of givers and the amount of donors, advocates, and volunteers at the company. So we're so appreciative of International Paper. They host a golf tournament for us. They sponsored the installation of 2 Born Learning Trails in 2 areas of Washington Parish, and as well as brought volunteers out to install those Born Learning Trails so young children can learn in an outdoor environment. And they also serve as a sponsor of our 2 Washington Parish campaign kickoffs every year in Franklinton and Bogalusa. They're a model, once again, not only in Washington Parish, not only in Southeast Louisiana, but in Louisiana and across the country. So thank you, International Paper, for everything you do for us. Our next company in alphabetical order is Pan American Life Insurance Group. Pan American Life Insurance, not only through the leadership of John Foley, who is one of our strong, longstanding board members, and Jose Saquet, but they are large supporters of United Way among all their employees. They host leadership presentations among their senior executives. They ensure that all employees across their footprint, across the country, get to hear about the work not only United Way is doing in Southeast Louisiana, but what local United Ways are doing across the country, and allow their employees in other areas the opportunity to give through our United Way campaign. And we are so incredibly appreciative of everything they do for us, including hosting United Way days, where we're able to table and talk about the many facets of United Way's work, so more and more employees can be immersed in our work. Our next company in alphabetical order is Shell. We have the great fortune of working with an incredible group of volunteer leaders at Shell through many facets of their work. Shell has its own hero employee campaign committee that continuously year after year promotes United Way as one of the top organizations that it supports, and we're very appreciative of that. They host a golf tournament for 4 organizations for the past 3 years, of which United Way has served as one of the recipients of those designations, and we're very appreciative of the long-standing gifts through their employees, as well as they have an incredible one-to-one match year-round for all employees and retirees, as well as a 2-to-1 match during a week-long period, their double match days. So that makes a significant impact on our work to make sure we're funding and investing in programs that make a huge impact. Several of their members are actively engaged in our Women United group, including our current chair, who is a Shell retiree, Kathy McCrae, and our incoming chair of Women United, Alexis Tucker, who is a current employee at Shell. They are one of our 5 volunteer companies of the year throughout many volunteer activities of United Way, and we'll be recognizing them at our Baby Cakes game next Tuesday. So we're very appreciative of Shell. Next, we want to highlight the Reilly Companies. The Reilly Companies, once again, a huge, long-standing supporter of our work. They are incredibly generous with a 2-to-1 match year-round on employee gifts through the Reilly Foundation. Their leadership is incredibly supportive of us, not only David Dara as the head of the organization, but the Reilly family as members of our Tocqueville Society, our $10,000 and above donors. And they constantly are spreading the word about United Way, and they even offer their employees opportunities to volunteer during the workday as an incentive to give to United Way. So we're very appreciative of the Reilly Companies. Next on our list is UPS, the United Parcel Service. UPS is one of our is the only global corporate leader on our list of United Way supporters. UPS has donated through global support of United Way more than $1 billion to United Ways across this world, and we could not do the work we do without UPS. They allow presentations at every one of their locations, letting our wonderful staff come in at 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. and really talk about the work and the services that are available to those employees and the resources that are available to their friends, family members, and neighbors. Karen Bird, one of our amazing board members, is a staff member at UPS, and we're very appreciative of their continuous support. Next, we want to recognize Valero Refining. Excuse me. We love Valero. We love our friends at Valero, especially its leader, Jack Merrill, who also serves on our United Way campaign cabinet. So in addition to all the incredible work that Valero does to raise money for United Way, Jack and his staff have been instrumental in attaining new United Way corporate campaigns for us across our 7-parish area to make sure we're bringing as many resources to the table as possible. So we're so appreciative of Valero, and not only do they host a jambalaya cook-off again for all of their employees, where costuming is involved and table decorations are involved, they host a day of caring in St. Bernard Parish. They offer a corporate match on all their gifts, and they're just every time there's an opportunity to support United Way throughout the year, they engage us in the work with their employees. So we're very appreciative. And last but definitely not least is Whitney Bank. Whitney Bank is led by our United Way 2017-2018 campaign chair, Gary Lorio. So Gary has been instrumental in making sure that Whitney is a corporate leader in the work of United Way this year, not only supporting a very significant corporate contribution to United Way, but also encouraging employee presentations at all branches and within all levels of leadership. We're so very appreciative of Whitney's support in our area and all the work we're doing at United Way. So that was a very quick snapshot of the 10 organizations. And please don't forget to save the date for our annual meeting when you'll find out the rankings of where all these wonderful companies line up. I would like to say, obviously, we're so appreciative of our top 10 companies, but we could not do this work without the hundreds of organizations and thousands of individuals that support United Way year-round. We cannot do this work without many hands, obviously, make light work. And at our annual meeting, not only do we recognize our top 10, but we make sure that we recognize through our Live United Awards, our Individual of the Year, our Small, Medium, and Large Companies of the Year, as well as our Hidden Hero, our Community Impact Funding Partner, our Community Impact Service Partner. We give a Public Policy Award and an Outstanding Communications Award. With only 2 minutes left, I just want to take a quick moment as we close this campaign and start another year of spreading the good word about United Way to recognize the incredible staff that I have the fortune to lead in our resource development and marketing teams, because every day they make sure that more and more individuals knew about the work of United Way and understood the value of every individual's contribution of time, talent, and treasure. So with that, I want to thank all of you. I want to thank every person on this call, and I hope that you will continue to tell people about the work. We hope there's an easy way to tell people. You can follow us on social media. All our social media channels are at United Way SELA. Please listen to our Live United radio shows that occur every Sunday on 13 different broadcasts, or visit our website at unitedwaysela.org. Once again, please give, advocate, volunteer, and connect with United Way. We cannot do this work without you, and that's your call to action for the month.